We have to learn to let go and allow life to happen through us without any judgments, without any preconceived notions, just allowing life to be what it is.
We're finding who we are. We choose between the left and right, the ups and downs, the darkness or the light. We're finding who we are.
There's only one reform in life. When you and I stop living from our heads, you and I are here for one very solid reason, and that is to learn to be loving.
We're finding our way together, just you and me.
Namaste. Welcome to Aspire. Believe it or not, this morning's whole discourse is on a bumper sticker that I saw, and this one's going to blow your mind, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Higher and higher until we finally sing. 'Cause when we seek, we find the answers. Life's a dance, and we're all dancers. Smile and just believe we can be everything.
Okay, are we ready? I'm not ready. Are you ready, Greg? Yes, I'm ready. Are you? No? Are you? Ah! I don't know who I am! Okay, I'm ready. Ow! I feel good. Na, 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 na. What are you doing on Sunday mornings? If Socrates had said that, he would have been a really smart guy. Blasphemer! Would you believe this is a religious program? It's not. Around and around and around we go, and all of our beliefs tell us so. Gotcha! What do you think of Aspire? Let things roll, let things happen, let the gods come down and do your thing. Come on, like that. Ooh, baby. Sock it to me, gotcha, 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 gotcha. That was good. I gotcha! Welcome to Aspire. This particular thing I want to share with you this morning is a bit touchy. I had to really think about whether or not I wanted to do this with you, because this whole thing happened to me. As it happened to me, maybe it will happen to you. I was driving along in my car, and I'm a person who loves to play with bumper stickers, and I love to read them. And as I was passing by, I saw this bumper sticker, and my mind did a number. Jimmy, can I have the bumper sticker? Thank you, Jimmy. We pay him a lot of money to do these things. This is the bumper sticker I saw. Well, what's it mean to you? Thank you, Jimmy.
I'm going to watch this off.
He's going to, we pay him a lot of money to do this. You see, the thing that is very interesting about the bumper sticker is it's just a series of words put together. What it means is up to me, and my mind did a real number on this. It twisted it. I thought, is this obscene? Is it dirty? Is it funny? What does it mean? Where is it taking me? What are they possibly saying to me that I'm not getting? Insecurity hit me. I thought, maybe I don't understand it. Because I don't understand it might mean I'm stupid. All this stuff started going around, and my mind started twisting, and then I got it. Because the bumper sticker is a gotcha. And here's how the gotcha works. It was telling me one thing, how my mind works. Can you see how your mind works? Our minds interpret life. Everybody's mind is conditioned. It's conditioned to think that certain things are bad, certain things are good, certain things are right, certain things are wrong. It doesn't mean that those things are right and wrong, bad or good. It's the attitude that we bring to everything. Humor depends upon the attitude that you have about yourself. An attitude about who you are, an attitude maybe about what you are. Attitude is everything. As I read that bumper sticker, I got to see what my attitude was about. Let me give you a little definition of attitude. Attitude is what I'm willing to give to life, what I'm willing to receive in life. Attitude has a lot to do with the kind of premise of my living and how I've set out my boundaries. It's kind of my field of living. Certain seeds can be planted in my field, and if my attitude is wrong, they won't germinate and grow. If I'm very cautious about my attitude, and it's a very open and kind of fertile attitude, fertile attitude, I like that. Anyway, then things do grow. You like that? Everybody likes it. It's a really good one. We're going to write that one down. You see, attitude is everything. My attitude, quite frankly, looked at that and thought, I'm not sure how to take that. And then I started thinking about my life. There have been a lot of things that have happened in my life I wasn't sure how to take. Some things that people have said to me that have hurt me very deeply. They didn't mean to hurt me. Some of the things that people said to me that hurt me, they didn't mean to hurt me. Have you ever laughed at a time when you weren't supposed to laugh and you felt embarrassed about it? Again, it has to do with attitude, the premise of what I'm willing to give and what I'm willing to receive. Some of us take ourselves far too seriously, far too seriously. I was riding home in the car the other day listening to a radio program, and they said to me on the radio program that your prosperity, your happiness, your advancement in your career has a lot to do with your attitude, and that a lot of us are far too heavy. We're not light. And because we're not light inside of ourselves, because our attitudes are heavy and we're very concerned with being overly serious, we don't seem to have the attitude that is necessary to make us happy and to advance us. Attitude. I'm a little worried about my attitude at times. I looked at that bumper sticker. I wasn't sure what it meant. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be insulted. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to laugh, or I wasn't sure if I was supposed to look at it and be disgusted. How about you? You know, I think our attitude describes a lot about our premise to life, where we live from, and who we are for now. And if we can kind of keep an observation on our attitude without shame or guilt, just watching how we think and the premise of our mind, it'll give us a keen insight into why we're missing a lot of the things that we're missing in our life, like prosperity and health and happiness. It's not that those things aren't there for us. It's our attitude keeps us from having them, because we're too busy interpreting things in a way that may be derogatory, or interpreting things to hurt us, and loving to be a victim. A lot of people like to be a victim. Maybe you like to be a victim. There's a lot of people who like to be self-righteous. That's all in our attitude. And there's a lot of people that have to be right, and a lot of people who like to be wrong because it makes them feel good to be wrong, because again, they get to play victim. All of this is an attitude. And attitudes are what kill our spontaneity. Attitudes are what kill the opportunity for us to change our life. Attitude is what really sets up the premise for how things are going to come into our life and go. If I'm narrow in my attitude, my life's going to be narrow. And I think all of us want to broaden our life a little bit. So we're going to take a deeper look at attitudes today and maybe see how we can open them up, make them a little more flexible, and maybe we can look at this bumper sticker and take a new attitude and not try to interpret it, but just let it be. I'll go over here. I'll be right back. Isn't it sad to think that the summation of our life is found in a box? This... Our attitudes have a lot to do with how we perceive life, what we see, what we don't see, what we hear, what we don't hear. I'm reminded of a joke, a story. Two men are walking in a very crowded, busy street. As one was walking along, he heard the coo of a bird, a very unusual bird, and he said to his friend, "Did you hear that?" And the man said, "How could you hear that in all this busy traffic?" The man says, "Well, I'm a zoologist. I've studied this. I'm trained to hear it." He said, "Let me show you how this works." So he flipped a quarter on the ground. And all the people who were walking around ran over and looked for the quarter and got it. And he said, "See, we hear what we want to hear." Maybe we see things the way we want to see them and interpret things the way we want to interpret them. A lot of people who are very prudish, very narrow in their point of view, find that there's everything in the world to offend them. Have you ever been with somebody who's constantly offended at everything, constantly complaining about everything? Nothing suits them. Nothing makes them happy. They can find offense in everything. It is my opinion, and you don't have to believe this, but it's a Greg Penn opinion, that people who are prudish must have something inside of them that they're deeply ashamed of. People who are do-gooders must be ashamed of something inside of them. People who are constantly offended must have some thoughts or an attitude inside of themselves that they're constantly offended by. That's why they're projecting it on everything else. I'm beginning to look at myself. That little bumper sticker really helped me. Because the first thing I did when I saw it was I thought, who would put that on a car? And then I thought, wait a minute, it's open to my interpretation. How do I know what that really meant? And when we begin to look at our life from that point of view, we begin to see, nothing is the way I thought it was. I am creating in my mind attitudes that are reflecting out into the world that are coloring everything that I see and hear. It really blows me away because I begin to really realize that a lot of the people that I've met or that I've seen, I'm not really giving them a fair chance. I'm judging them, I'm analyzing them according to my attitude. And my attitude is my give and take. What I expect and what I don't expect, what I want, what I don't want, how much I'm willing to give, how much I'm willing to take. That whole attitude's involved in that. I don't know, I think we're kind of raised with the idea of having a puritanical attitude. And yet life is not puritanical. The more I live my life, the more amoral I see life. Life allows for everything. Life doesn't have an attitude. It simply is. It is not confined by attitudes or thoughts or even the attitude of what is good and bad, right and wrong, what people call moral. Anything can happen in this life, and I'm afraid it does. And that's what frightens me. We see a lot of craziness in our world. Why? Because of the attitudes that we have. It's a conditioning that we go through. From the moment we are born, we are given an attitude by our parents, and then we are expected to carry out that attitude in some lifestyle that we have. I carry the attitude of my mother and father, Ed and Jean Penn. They instilled an attitude in me, a conditioning. And now for the rest of my life, I've been working on deconditioning myself. And when I discovered by seeing this silly little bumper sticker how my attitude worked, I began to really look inside myself and think, whoa, Greg Penn, how much of the rest of your life is like that? You thought it was one thing, and it turns out to be something entirely different. It amazes me. Now I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure of myself. I'm not so sure of what I'm thinking. I have a humility at this point right now in my life. It's a very humbling thing to think that I'm missing a lot of my life based on the whole idea that I'm thinking within my mind that things are the way I want them to be instead of the way they really are. Sometimes if I'm in a really good mood, nothing bothers me. You can say anything to me. I love it. But if I'm feeling sensitive and I've had a hard day and I'm feeling like I need to be a victim today or that I was victimized today, anything you say hurts me. Anything you say can make me angry. It has nothing to do with you. It's my attitude. And sometimes I find that we blame each other for things that we're not really doing. We blame each other for making each other angry. We blame each other for making each other happy. When happiness and anger and love and life are a personal thing. They have nothing at all to do with what someone is doing to us. You are not responsible for my happiness. My attitude is. You are not responsible for my anger. My attitude is. You're just living your life in a way that makes sense to you. If I pick on you, if I feel like you have done something to hurt me, then my attitude is, well, it's an attitude. And the only way I can say is to get along with each other, we can't have that kind of attitude. We have no attitude. Maybe the teaching about tolerance and compassion then becomes very important. We do need to have the attitude of tolerance and compassion. It is there that we find the ability to deal with people as they are and not let them affect us or hurt us. Attitude. This little bumper sticker really taught me a lot about where my head is. I hope it taught you a little bit about where your head is. I'm going to go away just for a moment. We'll be right back, and I want to talk to you about some how-tos and more attitude. attitude, it's everything. It's how I see things, it's how I interpret things, it's how I hear things. And a lot of people are really happy with their attitude. But have you ever thought that though you're happy with it, your life could be more if your attitude was maybe a little bigger, or if it disappeared entirely? Attitude has a lot to do with ego and vanity and pride and emotion and thought and all sorts of stuff. Maybe it would be valuable for us to take a look at our attitudes and, well, let me give you some how-tos and a way to expand your attitude and eventually to make it disappear, because the best circle is a circle with no circumference. And maybe that's what attitude should be like, no circumference. Give you some insight. First of all, begin to see how your attitudes limit the way you see things and the way you hear things. Where's your creativity now? A lot of people have lost creativity due to the attitude that they hold about themselves and about life and what they can do and what they can't do. Recently, I've been practicing the shakuhachi flute. It's a flute that Buddhists play. It's really hard to manipulate because it's just a hollow bamboo reed. And to get a tone out of it or to get music out of it, you have to be in the right attitude. And the attitude is kind of a let-go attitude. I have found out that by playing the shakuhachi flute for long periods of time, that I begin to limit a great deal of who and what I am by the way I live in the world. My attitude while playing the flute kind of brings me back to myself a little bit and shows me how rigid I've become. Attitude. I hate it. So listen, take a look. Where's your creativity with your attitude? Have you lost it? And if you feel like you can't do anything, it has a lot to do with the perimeters of your mind, your attitude. Try new things, things you'd never do. If you're not musical, do something musical. If you're not artistic, do something artsy. Find out why it is you don't think you can do things, and then do the things you can't do. Be clumsy. Don't do them well. And watch how your attitude surfaces and goes, oh, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. Why am I doing this? This is stupid. I should only do the things I can do. If you only do those things that you can do, where's the expansion in your life? Where's the creativity? Where's the happiness? Where's the discovery? We've lost it because we're too busy only doing those things that we are comfortable with. That's one thing you can do with attitude. Second thing is obvious. There is nothing that limits our life more than the attitude of judgment. Over and over and over we are told that judge not, judge not, judge not. And yet we continue to hold on to the idea that judging and judging and judging brings us a sense of right and wrong, good and bad, and builds an attitude that is proper. But have you ever considered that it doesn't? That it actually takes away from your life rather than adding to your life? Every time I say, this is good, this is bad, I've narrowed my attitude. Every time I say, this is right, this is wrong, I've narrowed my attitude. Now, a lot of people would say, well, if we didn't do that, what kind of society would we live in? I don't know. Maybe we'd be broader in our understanding and in our scope. Maybe we would have compassion for those things that we don't understand. Maybe there would be more art. Maybe there'd be more music. I don't know. It's not important. But what I think is that we ought to play with the idea of our attitude a little bit. Expand it out, not keep it so narrow. Another thing, to observe things non-critically, non-judgmentally. Things happen the way they need to happen. If my attitude is correct, if my attitude is kind of there, you know, with the non-judgmental attitude, the kind of openness, the kind of clarity that brings about insight, I will look at things as they are. I won't fight with them. I won't resist things. I'll take things with a sense of humor and a sense of lightness. And too many of us are too heavy about ourselves. We take ourselves far too seriously. We've got this attitude that the only thing that counts is how much I can get and how much I can hold on to, and more. We're very greedy people. And with that greedy kind of attitude that we possess, we make it very difficult for us to broaden our scope in life. Attitude. Things aren't the way they appear to be. That's the last little thing I'd like to share with you. Do you realize in your life that nothing is the way you think it is? Nothing. I look at my life. Here I am down here at Seaport Village, enjoying my day, watching people. I look at people who are old and young. Everybody has their own story. And if I just look at people as though they are just people without a story, I miss the beauty of them. Everyone here has a story, something to share, something to give. Everybody has a history and a past. Everyone is interesting in their own way. It's my attitude that I bring to the situation that tells me how much I'm going to receive out of it and how beautiful it's going to be or how ugly it's going to be. Your attitude today. The day's going to be what it is. You will shape it and mold it according to your attitude. If you're in a good attitude, good mood, it'll be great. If you're in a bad one, it'll be somebody else's problem. Look at your attitude. It has a lot to do with happiness, health, fulfillment, and peace. Gotcha. Namaste. Well, I hope you've learned a little bit about your attitude. You know, the days that we live in this world are just days. They're uncolored. We are the ones that color them, and we color them with the attitudes that we look through our life with. Our eyes, our ears color how we're going to see life. And life is neither good nor bad, nor right nor wrong. It's simply the way we see it. So maybe you'll be challenged a little bit this week to play with your attitude just a wee bit. And instead of looking at things the way you used to from your childhood or the way you were raised or by what you think is right and wrong, good and bad, maybe you'll start looking at life from a different attitude. Maybe eventually no attitude. An attitude that says to you that everything's in its right place and its right time. And maybe the attitude that you have won't be so narrow. We've used this bumper sticker. Jimmy, can I have the bumper sticker again? I'm going to flash it before you. I have no idea what this means. But according to your attitude, it will mean to you exactly what it needs to mean to you. I want to thank you again for watching. And remember, what you bring to every situation is exactly what you'll get out of it. So as you give to every situation this week, remember, you're not giving it to anyone else. You're giving it to yourself. It's one of those I gotchas. Take care, dear friends. Thank you for letting me be with you. And we'll see you next week on Aspire. Namaste.